Hello, everyone. Today we are kicking off our lesson with an exciting topic using component properties and variants in Figma. This feature is essential for creating flexible, consistent, and efficient design system. Let's break down what component properties are and how they can benefit our workflow. So, what are component properties? Component properties are essentially the adjustable parts of a component. They allow you to define which aspects of a component can be changed by others. By linking these properties to specific design elements, you can control things like layers visibility, instance swapping, and text editing. So let me tell you more about these things, characteristics. So layers visibility, you can set whether certain layers within a component can be hidden or shown. This is particularly useful for managing different states or optional features within a design. And next, instance swapping. You can specify if an instance of a component can be replaced with other component. This flexibility is great for allowing variation while keeping the design cohesive. And next, text editing. You can designate which text fields can be altered, making it easy for others to customize messages or labels without affecting the core component structure. These controls are all brought together in a single, user-friendly set in the Design tab on the right panel. This centralization means that anyone editing an instance of a component can easily see what is changeable and make those edits directly without having to navigate through multiple layers or consult external documentation. Now, let's talk about why do we use component properties in Figma. The use of component properties offers several key benefits. First benefit is streamlined editing. It eliminates the need for manually setting and overriding individual layers, which speeds up the editing process. And the second benefit is reduced documentation. It minimizes the need for extensive documentation as the editable aspects are clearly defined and visible within Figma. And the last benefit is enhanced consistency. It ensures that components are used correctly and consistently across your design system and reducing errors and maintaining design integrity. And some other additional benefits are, moreover, Component properties can help reduce the overall size of your design system or library file. This is achieved through the use of Boolean properties, which allow you to include or exclude certain elements without needing to create separate components for each variation. Just like with regular components, you can attach descriptions and links to additional documentation. This ensures that everyone using your components has the necessary information and context, promoting correct usage. Next, let's talk about types of component properties. Component properties come in various types, and each tied to different design aspects. You can create these properties for any main component or component set, and they can apply to nestled layers within the component or its variations. The main types include Boolean properties, instance swap properties, text properties, and variant properties. First, let's start with a Boolean property. A Boolean property is used to set true or false values. It's like a switch that you can turn on or off. This property is great for toggling certain attributes in your design. For example, if you have buttons in your design system that can either have an icon or not, but you don't need a separate variation for each case. Indeed, you can apply a Boolean property to the icon layer's visibility. If the property is set to false, the icon will be hidden. And if set to true, the icon will appear. Now, this not only makes it easier to manage your components, but also helps reduce the size of your design system and library files. Now, let's talk about instance swap property. The instance swap property lets you define which instance in a main component or variant can be swapped out. When you set this up, you choose a default instance from your local or enabled libraries. This means that when someone uses this component, they can easily swap out one nestled asset for another within the same component subset or from any available library. However, it's important to note that these swaps can only happen at the top level of the parent component. So, if you want to swap a nestled instance, you have to do it from the top level layer, not by selecting the nested instance itself. Now, let's talk about text property. A text property satisfies which text layer can be edited. Whether you are dealing with the default text value or editing an instance, You can change the text directly from the right panel or right on the canvas. The great thing is that changes update in both places automatically. Even if a text layer doesn't have its property, you can still update its text. But setting this property makes it clear and easy to see which parts of your text can be customized. And let's talk about variant property. A variant is a single version of a component within a set of similar components. The variant properties allows you to define attributes of these variants, such as their state, like active or inactive, color, or size. This helps you manage multiple versions of a component in an organized way. A component set can include many variants, each with attributes defined by variant properties. However, variant properties are specific to variants and component sets. You can apply them to main components directly. In summary, component properties are a powerful feature in Figma that greatly enhance our ability to manage and manipulate design elements efficiently. They help streamline the editing process and reduce the need for intensive documentation and ensure consistent use of components. By understanding and utilizing these properties, we can create more flexible and scalable design system. Now, let's use the two main components here to understand the concepts explained earlier. Let's check out two ways to set properties. First, to set properties on the component itself on the left, select the entire component. There are properties on the right and select Boolean button here so that you can turn the image on and off by pressing the plus button, and just name here as image Boolean. Okay. However, if you do this, an exclamation mark will appear next here. Not used within component appears, which means that the type and name of the property have been specified, but the specific elements on the screen that it is connected to have not been set. So when you select the image above here, then you can find the apply Boolean property button here and click on it and connect this image to the image Boolean properties. Okay. And connection is done for this image. And if you, this is main instance, but if you main component, but if you make some other instance just by copying, this one is an instance. You can see that the Boolean button is active on your right side. And I can turn it off and turn it on like this. And you can use the toggle button to check where the image disappears or reappears. However, there is no change on the vertical. If there is no change in the vertical shape of the card, it is likely that you have not carefully set up the settings to allow for resizing. Setting hard content or setting fill container, etc. Now let's set properties in a different way using the card on the right side. Here you select the image by directly double-click on it, then set the image name. And set the image name directly in the layer window on the right. Create Boolean properties button. So we can name like this and create property. Then now, if you copy this component and create an instance, this one, a button will appear on the right side that allows you to turn off and turn on the picture of the registered image. If you press it, you can see change on the screen, right? Let's apply Boolean to the text as well. If you give some Boolean to this layer, you can also a variant is a component set consisting of main components that allows grouping of component properties. By setting properties like size and color for each component, you can manage and utilize the components more effectively. For example, in a button UI, where you need different states, such as active, enabled, press, or disable, you can quickly switch the appearance by grouping component properties into variants. This way, you can easily manage and apply different visual styles or functional states across the component. Now, let's dive into creating variants in Figma. Variants are super handy for managing different versions of components. So, we will do some exercise practicing from this part. I applied auto layer to create various button shaped frames. Among them, select both blue buttons on the left, and then click the component icon pull down button at the top to see Create Component Set. And select this. Then you can see that each frame is converted into a component and also bundled with variants. And in the case of the 3 buttons that are not currently registered as components, first select all of them to make them into components, and then select Create Multiple Components from the component tool at the top to register them all individually as component. So you can see all this is registered as a component. Now, you can also create variation with a single button in the center. Select this button, and at the top, you will see an icon called Add Variant here, and click on it. If you press this, another identical button will appear and a bundle of variants will be created. You can remove the image icon from here to variate these buttons and change it to the different style shape. Now, this time we will create the yellow buttons on the right with variants. Since all of these buttons were registered as components a little while ago, select both and click on the button called Combine as Variants in Components on the right side. Click. Then you can see that these 2 buttons are grouped together with variant by the purple dot line. If you want to unravel a bundle of variant, just drag outside the dot line, and it will release from the variant. This one also. Click and just drag out of that dot line area. This one also. Oh, sorry. So they are all released from their own variant. And let's put together here. Now let's put all these components in a one variant. So combine as variants, we can click here easily. Yes. Now it is all grouped by a variant, and this variant can be align the properties and value. So here properties can be thought of an criteria for classifying categories, and values here can be thought of as unique values or names belonging to the category. Currently, this variant is you can divide category by icon, presets, and colors. So then you can see these properties already here. That there are two. So let's write here whether they have icon or not. Or this one just write or divide with the color. Okay. Then we can select this blue, red, and this one has the common characteristic as a icon with icon. So you can write here with icon, and here there's no icon below these buttons. So we can say and write the values as no icon. And how about this one? This one and this one, the color is blue. So let's write here blue, and this one and this one red, and this one and this one as yellow. Then now after doing this, if you select the individual buttons, you can see that what value each button has according to the properties classified here. See? Icon type is with no icon, color is red. This is no icon, red. This is with icon, yellow. No icon, yellow. With icon, blue. No icon, blue.